you excited?
Hmm?
Are you excited?
Of course.
Are you anxious?
No, I'm ready to have him see him.
All right, you guys. So I was editing my labor and delivery clips. It's not even a full video. And I was like, you know what? Like, this labor and delivery deserves like a sit down because it was a lot. It was a lot, you guys. So I'm in my closet. I was organizing some of his stuff, some of baby Zay's stuff. But yeah, I wanted to sit down and kind of go over everything that happened the day that I had baby Zay. So, yeah, I went in I was 37 weeks and 3 days. 37 weeks and 3 days, you guys. And, it was a normal visit with my specialist. And basically, since 29 weeks, I was admitted to the hospital at 29 weeks because things kind of started. Okay, backstory. Baby Zay, he was kind of like at a growth restriction. Like, we didn't know what exactly was going on. He was getting high readings with his umbilical cord. They were able to see that the way that the umbilical cord was attached to the placenta, it was kind of off. But it didn't fully explain why he was, why we were getting the certain readings that we were getting. So at 29 weeks, they ended up admitting me to the labor and delivery because they thought, we were going to have to get baby out. That was a whole scare, you guys. That was something that I was not prepared for. They had to give me steroid shots. That's the first time I ended up having to see my specialist. And basically he went in and just kind of said, okay, we've admitted you, but we are going to keep baby in as long as we can. And it was at that moment that he was like, okay, you're going to alternate. You're going to see a doctor weekly. You're going to see your OBGYN 1 week and then me the next week. So at 29 weeks, I was seeing doctors every week, you guys. So fast forward 37 weeks, I went to go see my specialist. And, he was doing his measurements and baby was still measuring small. And he was such a good specialist, you guys. He was very detailed. He walked me through and showed me everything step by step. So I already kind of knew what I was looking at as far as his measurements. And as he was doing the measurements, I already knew, I could tell that, okay, baby is still measuring small. So he does his full scan and he basically got a little quiet and he's like, okay, baby needs to come out already. And I'm like, no. And it was so crazy, you guys, because that morning, my boys don't go to school on Friday. I had the appointment on Friday. And that morning we woke up and we were like, should we take the boys? Should we not take the boys? And last minute, I just had that gut feeling. I was like, you know what? We're taking the boys. Like, the sliding is so bad. But last minute, I was like, you know what? We are taking the boys. We're going to take the car seat and we're going to take, all of our bags and everything just in case. Thank goodness I listened to my gut, you guys, because I saw my specialist and he was like, baby's ready to come. We need him out. So by 10 o'clock, we were already, all I had to do was cross the street from his office to the hospital. And that was already like at 10 o'clock, you guys. So keep track of the times because the times are what gets me. So 10 o'clock, by 10:30, I was already at the hospital. And getting admitted. And so 10:30, I was already in my room. They were setting up the IV, kind of letting me know what the process would be. And then they let me know that, you know, my doctor wouldn't be in. Not my doctor, but a doctor within the practice would be in by 1 o'clock. So, you know, from 11-ish, I would say that's when I got in my room. From 11 to 1, they were kind of just prepping me, getting me set up. And it was at that moment that I was kind of okay to kind of let people know, like, hey, baby's coming early. So did that, and then 1 o'clock comes around, you guys, and here comes the OBGYN. And I am so thankful I got this OB because, one, I was already kind of nervous seeing someone else because no one kind of knew the reasons as to why we were going to deliver early. But this doctor was amazing, you guys. She was absolutely amazing. She comes in and she lets me know what the process is, right? So 1 o'clock, they end up giving me a pill that would kind of, I guess, start the contractions in a way. So they gave me that pill, and then after that, a little while after, they ended up having to do a procedure on me. And you guys, that procedure was probably the most painful thing, one of the most painful things that I had to go through. And basically, I don't know the terms of all this, you guys, but it was like a procedure that they had to stick some balloons in me between my uterus and the baby. Like, I don't even know where it was positioned, but it was balloons that they had to inflate, and that was going to kickstart, like, that was going to get everything going. So I want to say about 2 o'clock they put that in me, and I was stuck with that. You guys, that was so painful. So during this whole process, you guys, I wanted to see the epidural, I wanted to see how far I could get with the pain. But y'all, once everything started and the pain that I was already experiencing with it not even being contractions yet, I asked my doctor, I was like, okay, when do you think I should take the epidural? And she was like, honestly, this is your third pregnancy or your third baby. It's completely up to you. And it was like, I had that gut feeling again, you guys. I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and let's just get this epidural going. So after they did the painful procedure, you guys, oh my gosh, I was in tears when they were doing that. Next up, the guy who did the epidural, he came in and he did it, and I forgot how uncomfortable that thing was, but we were able to get it done. So then the next step from that was doing the different positions, getting me comfortable. They had me do some positions with that ball, that exercise ball. So I was doing that for a good hour or two, and then 4 o'clock comes around and doctor comes in and she decides to check to see if I dilated. And so by that point I was dilated to a 5. Okay, at 4 o'clock I was dilated to a 5. So then, baby's crying. So then, you know, it was time for them to take the balloons out and break my water. So that was the next step. That's what they did. And after that, I was like, okay, like, I know I'm supposed to be feeling pressure, and I know that's when I let y'all know, like, I'm feeling pressure. But I was like, what's another sign that, you know, I know that it's time? So my nurse looks at me and she was like, basically, TMI, kind of, not really, but if you feel like you've inserted a tampon and it's not in right, that's what you're looking for. And I didn't say anything at that moment, but I was like, I was already feeling that. And I'm like, there's no way. It hasn't even been an hour, right? There's no way. So a couple of minutes go by, and then baby was not liking the fact that they broke my water. So luckily baby did not like that, because they went in and they checked to see how much I dilated, you guys. And at 4 o'clock I was dilated at a 5. It hadn't even been, I think it was just about to be 5 o'clock. My nurse checks me and she's like, oh, you're completed. I'm like, I hear it, but I'm not like, I guess I didn't like, it didn't click, you know? And then my husband was like, what does completed mean? And she's like, baby's ready to come. I'm like, I remember I was looking at my husband when she said that. And then I remember she was behind me. I remember turning around and I was like, excuse me, what? Like, I was so in shock, you guys, because it was an hour into it. And she was like, yeah, you're ready to push. So I'm like, what? So then doctor comes in, nurses come in, NICU comes in, and next thing I know, I'm ready to push, you guys. And I was like, I'm still in shock. I was in shock during the whole process. And so, you know, they position me. I'm getting ready to start pushing with the first contraction. And I just start bawling, you guys. I start bawling because I'm like, wow, I want to cry. I was like, wow, we're really here. Like, that went by so fast. And the doctor was like, you know, she sees me crying and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just in shock of how quick everything is just going. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to process everything. So yeah, you guys, first contraction hits, I get 3 pushes out, and doctors are still talking to me. You know, my husband's right there, and we're just like, oh my gosh, he's coming. Like, he's actually coming. Then the second contraction hits, and yeah, I did my 3 pushes, and doctor asks my husband, she was like, okay, what color hair does he have? And my husband was like, it's dark hair. And little did we know he has very light hair, you guys. So then the third contraction comes, and she's like, we're getting this baby out right now. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I pushed my 3. The third push, you guys, he was out. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't want to see him until he starts crying. So the doctor is holding him out, and I have no, she had him right here, and she was like, look, your baby's out. And the first thing that I see is, oh my gosh, he's so tiny, you guys. He was so tiny. And they put him on my chest, and he starts crying. I was like, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. So then she assures me, she's like, you know, baby's healthy. He looks like he doesn't have to have NICU. So then the other nurses check him, and he was perfect, you guys. He was fine. He did weigh 4 pounds, 14 ounces. So he was super tiny, but he was healthy as can be. So yeah, so then, you know, you deliver the baby, and then you have to deliver the placenta. And I had kind of already given that OB kind of like a short history on why I was being induced. And I was like, you know, when the placenta comes out, can you please check it so we can kind of see what it was that was keeping baby, why he was growth restricted. So placenta's delivered, and you guys, my nurses and my doctor were amazing. They sat there and they went over the placenta. They went over the positioning of the umbilical cord. They went through the umbilical cord and make sure there was no nodules. And at the end of the day, you guys, it was just how the umbilical cord was positioned. And that's why we kept getting those high readings on the sonograms. So yeah, I thank God that he is here and he's healthy. We're trying to get some weight on him. So yeah, I wanted to do this clip because the clips that I got were so short, and like I said, everything happened so quick that I couldn't even get my phone out to record certain things. So yeah, that's kind of the story. And so these next clips are short, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hi. Hi.
Thank you so much.
That was all you.
Good to meet you, baby brother.
Hi, buddy. His eyes are open.
Yeah, he's awake. So we did it.
Whatever. I know, remember. I know.